Some of you don't know that I used to be a graphic designer. Well, all of you didn't know that until now because I just told you. My experience as a designer gives me no authority whatsoever to critique logo design, but here we are. And I'm going to give you my interpretation of all 30 NHL teams, plus the newly designed Vegas Golden Knights logo. But before we get into that, please compress that like button and subscribe so I can have the will to carry on and put these videos out just for you. Okay, let's start off with what I think is a very clever logo, the Anaheim Ducks. Most people are smart enough to know that it's a big old D up on your screen. But if you look closer, it's also the bottom of a duck's web foot. Oh my, you got me there. You Anaheim Ducks are so clever. Also, the left side looks like a 3 attached to a D, so it says 3D, which I don't know if that is intentional or not, but it could be an homage to the fact that 3 awful Mighty Duck movies have been made, with the last one being titled D3, Let's Ship This Giant Turd of a Movie Overseas and See If People in Kuwait Want to Watch Hockey. Next, we have the New York Rangers. Nothing fancy here, though the logo is shaped like the main NHL logo, so I guess 90 years ago when they first designed the thing, they didn't have computers to make fancy logos like this next one, the Vancouver Canucks. The last 2 logos from our friends from the way left coast are kind of confusing at first, but upon closer inspection are actually pretty sick. Okay, look at this one. It's obviously a C for Canuck. Then you look closer and see that it's a whale jumping out of the ocean, a very angry whale. It's actually a blatant shout out to their parent company, Orca Entertainment, which owns the team. But because they didn't want to just make the logo a stereotypical Canadian, which is what a Canuck actually means, right? Also, their retro logo from the 70s is nice though. Look at it. At first it looks dumb, just there with a stick and all. But hey, it's actually a V. And the whole rectangle, that's a C. Oh my God, you Canucks are so darn clever. Okay, back to a classic. The Red Wings, we get it. It's a wheel and some wings. The tire, a major shout out to the auto industry in the D. This Met logo may never change, and I hope it doesn't. On to the Edmonton Oilers. This is actually a really good logo. The Oilers are appropriately named because oiling is the only reason Edmonton exists. Look at that sweet orange nectar that is the lifeblood of a freezing cold ice brick that has to have some amazing hockey teams and players roll through there. I like this logo. Reminds me of the oil slick in Spy Hunter. Oh shit, I'm old, yo. Now we go into what I call the natural disaster logos. You have the Avalanche, the Lightning, the Hurricanes, and the Cleveland Browns. Just kidding about that last one, but the first 3 on that list have actually killed people. Though I think if I were a Cleveland Brown fan, well, never mind. The Avs logo isn't bad. You have the A, obviously, and a crappy attempt at a C wrapped around it. I never realized this, but the thing sliding down the mountain is actually a stylized hockey puck. Huh, you just learned something, huh? The Hurricanes is also a cool but cruddy attempt at subliminalism. There's a C in there, a circular saw blade, and one mean looking eye. Oh my God, the Canes logo is watching you masturbate. And lastly, for this we have the Lightning. Cool logo. Looks like they just skipped the typography and just went for a well-designed, good-looking logo. I mean, there is kind of an L in there. Not bad. On to the Panthers, which I think is scary as hell, looking beast leaping at you all fierce and complicated with shadows and shit all up in there. I don't see much symbolism in this. It looks like the team owners were like, hey, just making a freaking panther, all right? And that's what they did. A much better example of a fierce animal is the Predators logo, which is some type of buck-toothed house cat. There are some clever things about this. It suggested that the logo is a lowercase n, but if you look real close, you'll see a Pegasus with no legs and one of them bottlenose fish. Or maybe that's a buck knife. Speaking of fish, we now have the Sharks, which has a badass shark biting into a hockey stick, and this shark is mean and breaking through the ice. It makes me want that to happen in real life. A shark comes up from underneath the ice, leaps out, bites a damn stick, and then disappears. I like this logo though. You get the point. Next is a logo similar to the Sharks, but I think could use a little work. I mean, look at the difference in these two. The Sharks has all that depth and shadow, and then you look at this family circus looking penguin. But it does have a little secret for you. There's a P in this logo. There's P in this logo. And it's yellow. One last animal we have is the Yotes. I don't see much other than a dog that is yelling. Cool logo though. I can dig it. Back to a classic though. The Montreal Canadiens. Probably the most iconic logo in all of the NHL. You can obviously see that the C and the H, and then when you put it all together, it stands for Le Club de Hockey Canadien. That is my best French accent for it. Le Club du Hockey Canadien. Is that it? No, terrible. But did you notice the Jesus fish, the happy faced man with a hat, the atomic bomb, or the horseshoe? Amazing, eh? Now we have the Blackhawks, a classic logo as well as most original 6 teams have. Keep it simple. I like this logo because the Blackhawk looks dignified, not an insulting caricature that the Cleveland Indians logo is from the 1980s. Part of the logo does look like an ovary and a fallopian tube though. Moving on to the Ottawa Senators, a good logo, but I'm not sure why they fancied the Roman Senator style since most actual Canadian Senators look like this. Okay, real quick. Can you name one Canadian senator? I bet you 99% of Americans can't. I only know one Canadian politician, and he was a mayor who smoked crack, even though we got a few of those here too. In the Northeast, we have the New Jersey Devils. Unless you're an idiot, you see the N and the very small J attached to it, and of course the overt Satanism in the design, which can be the only way the team has 3 cups in the last 20 years, with that Marty B selling his soul to the devil. The Calgary Flames. It looks like a C that has herpes. Also, did you notice the penis inside the C? Yep, herpes. Another logo with a D in it. The Dallas Stars come pretty strong with this one, the D inside of a star, which is something we would all like to do with our Ds. I like the shadows and the dimension of this logo, and the inside of the inner D looks like a bullet or a big part of Batman's face. Now, we get to probably the team I hate the most, but I dig this logo, the Philadelphia Flyers. We got an owl type thing looking at you with its orange eye of death. The circle part is like a hockey puck. Them feather things are nice if you're not good at picking up hints. There's also a P in the logo. Also, if you flip the thing over, it looks like the back wheel of a car stuck in an oil field. Didn't see that one, did ya? On to our nation's capital, where this is a nice logo, but I just realized how I've been looking at it wrong. The T is shaped like a hockey stick, even though my semi-dyslexic self always thought the L was the hockey stick. So there's only one L in the logo, but if it's the Caps in the second or first round of the playoffs, you got a lot of L's there. Ha ha. The LA Kings, I have nothing to say. It's not clever. It's not edgy. Pretty much says what the team is in the logo. Good job. Another logo that I like is the Buffalo Sabres. Look, it's a buffalo. It's sabers. This is literally like cave art. But Buffalo has been known for something a little different lately. Maybe it's time to update the logo? The Blues logo is interesting to me. It's a note, which I get, but it has wings on it. The note could be backwards and form a B, but instead it's a lowercase d. I still don't get the wings. Maybe it's for a bluebird, but St. Louis is more known for their Cardinals. Speaking of birds, why do so many NHL logos have wings? The next logo I like, the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's very American. The swoop forms a C, the star forms a star. And if you look closely inside the C, it looks like an eel trying to eat krill and a floating red hockey puck. The Jets logo is pretty obvious. It's a jet on top of a maple leaf. I don't know why the jet nose is peeked out in white. Maybe it's suggestive of a W there. Graphic designers usually don't do things without intention. Good job on that. Pretty clever. One last classic with the Boston Bruins. Another iconic logo, fits nicely on a puck. And it's subtly and graphically very sound. Each of the parts of the B align with a spoke on the wheel thingy, it looks like. Subtle but cool. Now we have the Islanders. Most people look at this logo and see the NY with the Y being a hockey stick and the text below. But what you might not know is this orange thing back here isn't a crab claw. It's not an at entering a cave or the outline of a scary orange monster from Looney Tunes. It's a map of Long Island. Seriously, you could use it to not get lost. Also, the map helps show you that Brooklyn is indeed on Long Island. I didn't really get that. We got the Toronto Maple Leafs, a classic as well. Canadians love their maple syrup, eh? That has nothing to do with the logo, but if you zoom in real intense on it, there's tiny fine print that says, "Please send help. We haven't won a cup in over 50 years." Before I get into my last critique, let's look at the new kid in town, the Vegas Golden Knights. This thing looks intimidating as hell. Some faceless knight ready to murder an entire village with his helmet in the shape of a V with angry eyes. The logo and the team name is a shout out to West Point, where the owner went to school. Good luck to the Vegas Golden Knights when they take the ice. It's only a matter of time before the NFL puts a team there. And the guy's weekend of gambling, coke, and whores gets a cozy new roommate. NFL football. Lastly, there is a good reason I saved this one for last. The Minnesota Wild. So is it a beaver? Or a badger? Or a bear? I'm going with beaver. With a river creek for a mouth. And a cloudy sun for eyes. And the trees. What is going on? Dude, I cannot deal with this. Y'all's logo seriously looks like someone decided to cram everything that embodies the state of Minnesota into one emblem. The only thing missing is a six-pack of Surly. Trees make an M, and then I guess there's also a W. There is a star for the bear's eye, and the sun appears to be out. Or is it the moon? But it's yellow. Okay, I really give up. You tell me what this train wreck is. Leave a comment below, and please subscribe. And if this bid gets a bunch of likes, I'll do this for the NFL next. I'm 5 points, and you made it to the end of this video.